Well, hello everybody and welcome back to Boro Bs channel. And today we're going to do something different. We're going to talk about philosophy. We're going to talk about how it applies to football. And we're going to talk about how it applies to Chelsea in general. In this video we'll discuss that. I'll talk about what I think is the root problem at Chelsea FC. But before we get to the video, man, thank you guys for supporting me. If you're new, subscribe to my channel. Leave a like on this video and get engaged in the comment section. Tell me what you guys think about the video, about my theory, I guess you could say, and what you think about what I'm going to say, basically. And let's get to it, man. Like, Bruce Lee, the late great Bruce Lee, talked about adaptability once. He said, don't get set into one form. Adapt it, build your own. Let it grow. Be like water. Empty your mind. Be formless, be shapeless, like water. When you put water in a cup, the water becomes the cup. When you put water into a bottle, the water becomes the bottle. When you put water into a teapot, the water becomes the teapot. Why am I saying this quote? Because this quote was applicable to Chelsea and their footballing philosophy from 2005 to 2012. Let me explain. Water adapts. Water always adapts, and Chelsea's biggest strength was adaptability. We were not a club that was extreme on philosophies. By which I mean we did not die by, let's say, possession, but we did not die by keeping clean sheets. We were in between, which is what made Chelsea, which is what gave us an edge. Because we had so many managers changing, the best way to think for managers was adaptability. Somewhere down the line, Chelsea Football Club has lost its soul. Post 2000, let's be completely honest and say, post 2013, Rafa Benitez, since Rafa left, this football club has had no real soul. We've had success, but we haven't had a soul. We haven't had a philosophy. The best thing about Chelsea was we had the best of both worlds in terms of philosophy, and we had a good balance. Balance is key. Water is like balance because water adapts to everything. We don't have balance anymore. We used to have balance because of the recruitment we did. We had an idea of the kind of players we wanted and the kind of players we put into the team to kind of implement our philosophy. We had the players who can win us games, flair players, but we had people who had mental strength, ability to grind out results, and there was a lovely balance. A balance that helped Chelsea be what they are, which was successful ultimately. We were never like a Barcelona or Arsenal under Arsene Wenger, where we were just about possession, death by free-flowing football. We were not like that. We were more comparable to a Manchester United, to a Juventus, to a Inter Milan, let's say, to a Bayern Munich. We were like water. We would adapt. We would adapt to the situations we were put in, and that was the beauty of our philosophy. Now, post 2012, Roman Abramovich has had an obsession to be like Barcelona. And I think that's where the problem comes from. This is a problem much deeper than Frank Lampard. This is a problem that it has to do with the soul. It goes deep, and it has to do with us losing what we are and trying to be something we're not. Or at least if you're trying to be something we're not doing it successfully. If we want to change our philosophy, if we want to change from being a balanced team to a team that's going to have a plan A and will continue pursuing plan A, then we have to wholeheartedly support the managers we put in. We haven't done that. Roman Abramovich has not done that. This is about Roman mostly. Roman has been a great owner. Let's not make a mistake. But his obsession with becoming Barcelona has hurt us. It has hurt us. We've lost what we are. This problem is deeper than just results. This is a philosophical problem at Chelsea Football Club. And it's not simple. It's not as simple as firing a manager. Yes, I know. And sacking Frank right now would probably be the right thing to do. And I completely get that. I've been on talking about how he hasn't done anything. That's because Frank Lampard, as a manager, he's not like water. He doesn't know what his philosophy is. He is more along the Pep Guardiola line, the death by possession line, than a clever manager. Fine, which is fine. You can be that. But the problem is, we don't have the players to fully implement that style. Number one, we don't have the players to fully implement his style as well. His style is closer to that, but there are elements, smaller elements, small, not enough to be in the middle, but it's more towards this, more towards a free-flowing style. We don't have the personnel to implement his style properly. Maybe a better manager with his philosophy, with a more experience, with more know-how, more experience in his field, would do a better job. Sure, I completely accept that. But we as Chelsea have lost what we are. We have to know what we are. When we hire managers, it's very random. We go from different directions. And it doesn't make sense because we gave Conte a very technically gifted team, and he was smart enough to tactically adjust with the team he had. He didn't particularly have the players he wanted for his philosophy. And when he came and told Roman, this is what I want for my philosophy, Roman said, no, this is the kind of players that I'm going to get. So Roman has an obsession with being like Barcelona. But he doesn't fully support the managers. Now, he's fully supported Frank Lampard, I will give you that. And Frank should do better. There is no question Frank Lampard should do better as a manager right now. But he is inexperienced. He doesn't know what his philosophy is. If he's been told to play this way, he doesn't know the best way to implement it because he's learning on the job. I think Roman Abramovich, I think Frank Lampard being sacked is almost inevitable. It will happen. It's a matter of time. When, let's say it happens, to hire the next manager, Roman Abramovich has to go look deep within himself and understand what Chelsea Football Club has been, what Chelsea Football Club is, how Chelsea Football Club has been successful. That Bruce Lee quote is applicable to Chelsea Football Club. We have to go back to what we were in order to be successful. If we get players that suit what we think we are, if we are a balanced team, we get certain players who fit what who fit our philosophy, which is to be solid and then let the good players go and win games, not necessarily just sit back all the time. Then Roman has to accept that that is what Chelsea are. We're never going to be a full possession-based Barcelona team. We're never going to be like an Atletico Madrid where it's all about hard work. It's all about togetherness, spirit, not giving the opposition any space, and then taking advantage of the counterattacks or set plays or the energy of the crowd. We are not going to be that team. We're going to be in between. We're going to have Steve Clark made a great quote about the 2005 Chelsea winning team. He said, if you wanted to take us in a game of football, we could beat you. If you had to go to grounds like at the time Blackburn or Bolton, and it's not a game of football, we could still hold our own. And that's what missing. That is what Chelsea Football Club doesn't have right now. We don't know what we are. Are we going to hold our own? Are we going to play our football? What are we? We don't know what we are. It's all over the place. The football players that we buy are not particularly mentally strong. They are of a more technically gifted nature. Okay, but in order to implement that philosophy, we have to hire the manager that completely implements that philosophy. And for me, that is not the right way, because I know Chelsea Football Club from my childhood, and I know what it has been. And we have to go back to what we are, to be like water, to be balanced, to be in the middle, and to be successful doing what we know is best for us, which is to play an adaptable game. I hope this video clarifies as to why I think this is a much deeper issue. It's a philosophical issue from a footballing sense. The problem that is at Chelsea Football Club. Roman Abramovich has to understand what Chelsea Football Club is, what he wants the club to be, how he made it successful at first. He has to get away from the obsession of being Barcelona. The problem with, like I said with Frank, is he doesn't know himself because he's young as a manager. He doesn't know. He's not a Guardiola. He's not a Mourinho. He's not a Simeone. He's not a Conte. He's not an Ancelotti. He's not a manager with a philosophy and a style of play. He's still figuring it out. And maybe because he's figuring out, there's been so much patience. But if we do sack him, which I fully expect, because I feel like it's getting to the point now where we might go into a relegation battle or get sucked into that space of 12th, 13th, and we have too much talent for that. We have to decide when Chelsea get a new manager in, it has to be well thought, and tactical adaptability has to be one of the main things to look at, because we are not going to be like Barcelona. We're not going to be like Atletico Madrid, which was the problem with Mourinho, because he was too defensive. Conte was perfect for Chelsea. Sacking Conte was such a mistake. Yes, sometimes he would play defensively, but he had a football philosophy that suited our culture, and that was good for us. And it's a big mistake. Anyways, this was just Conte's gone now. We have to stick with Frank, or if Frank goes, the new guy that comes in has to understand what Chelsea is. Roman has to understand what he wants Chelsea to be, and then we move from there. Anyways, guys, this was just a video on philosophy in Chelsea and how footballing philosophy applies to Chelsea here. It's a deeper issue than just the manager. I just wanted to get this off my chest. Hope you guys are having a good time, a good 2021. I'm gonna get back to you guys for another video later. Until then.